Hi everybody, I'm Rik Emmett, and here we are again, deep in the bowels of Studio One Metalwork Studio to shoot an MJS Pickups video. And I have a new guitar, and I have new MJS Hum Zero pickups that I'm going to introduce to you. These are humbucking, Filtron-esque kinds of pickups, so not quite as powerful as a PAF, but that's why we're here. And I'm going to play some examples so you can get a sense of how these different pickups work. Let me explain a little tiny bit about, first of all, the pickups themselves. They're just a Alico 5 magnet with a 4.5K here and a 6.5 here. So that's essentially what you're dealing with. They're not as powerful as pickups that I'd had Smitty put into Les Pauls for me in the past and stuff. But the thing is that these have a really articulate voice. So I'm going to talk about this guitar just a little bit now, just so that you understand what I'm dealing with. I had a guy named Garen DeCassian build this. Smitty curated the design and the follow through on all of this, and this guitar went back for tweaks a few times. But this is essentially a kind of a Gibson Les Paul's bridge height, or like a 335, and scale length. So a 24 3/4 scale length. So not like a Fender. But then everything else about the guitar is like a Telecaster, because I do a lot of playing like this now. You know, I'm an old guy and I'm more into jazz than I used to be. I'm going to play pieces that I've been writing for an album that I'm eventually going to make, which the working title is 10 Telecaster Tales. And I'm just going to play little excerpts from different ones so that I can demonstrate different aspects of the voice of these pickups. And before I start on the first one, I just want to point this out. I'm going to be on the neck pickup for this first one. But I've also got the volume at 10 through a clean Peavy 30 amp. And I'm not using any pedals or anything. This is literally just a tiny bit of reverb from the amp itself. And I put new strings on this thing. And these are D'Addario XS, the white package ones that were the generation after NYXLs. They're extremely bright and zingy, and they're fairly fresh. I've only had these on like less than a week. So I do roll the top off on the tone knob just a bit. So instead of being, got it on 10 now, and I probably back it off to about 7. And it doesn't make too much of a difference in the tone of the guitar, but enough of it that it just takes a tiny bit of that zing off the top because they're new strings. So, plus, you know, I'm getting old and I'm getting deaf, and so I like it when it's starting to sound a little dark. Okay, so, yeah, the first piece I'm going to play for you is a thing called So Pushy, and it's autobiographical in nature because the man that's playing it tends to like push at the bar lines and get out ahead of himself. And so the music does a little of that. Next thing I'd like to play for you is called Whiz, and it's kind of a traditional jazz thing which has a walking vibe to it. So this kind of sits in a pocket, and I've turned the tone knob down just a bit more, but I'm still on the neck pickup here, and you're going to get to hear the articulation of bass notes against chords with melody sitting on top. So this is, you know, real old school finger style, you know, chord construction kind of guitar playing. next thing we're going to do is demonstrate the middle position, which is one of the things that Smitty takes great pride in with these pickups. And you'll hear why. You're going to get the almost like the cluck of a guitar's quality. That not like the out of phaseness of a Strat in its 2 or 4 position, but the same kind of a thing out of these kind of Filtertron kind of pickups, which it's pretty cool. So this is called Funky Monkey Scratchin', and yeah, a little bit of Chet and a whole lot of Robbie Robertson and Donnie Triano in this. So. Okay, how are we doing so far? Next cue is a little thing called Slinky. And I'm now going to try to show you how the pickup, and again, we're still just dealing with the neck pickup here, how it deals with translating through an effect. So this is a sort of a, you know, greasy, a little bit more of the effect than the dry signal. And you're going to get to hear, I'm going to do things like pop bass notes the way, you know, a funk bass player might do it. But you're going to hear this kind of jazzy, I don't know if you remember songs like Spooky and Stormy. So mine is called Slinky. Okay, people, so now we're at cue number 5, and I've put a capo on the guitar here, you can see, at 2. So we're going to raise the voice of the guitar up a little bit, but I'm still going to be on the neck pickup here, but I've turned on an MXR Phase 100, which is like the old MXR Phase 90 that I had when I was a young man, when I wore a younger man's clothes, as Billy Joel would say. And this is so you can hear how the pickups respond when they're carrying a slightly different effect than the one that I used last time. So this is the phase sound, and I'm going to play a waltz for you. A little. This is from a thing called Swirling, which I won't go into too much detail here to self-promote my own writing and my own tunes. But one of the chunks of the 10 Telecaster tales is based on sort of old dance suites from way back in the Baroque era, and all of the pieces on Telecaster Tales are about movement. And this one in particular is a waltz, but it's a swirling kind of a thing, which is, the sections that they used to use were called courants. Okay, so we've reached the end now of the demonstrations. This is the last one that's coming. But it's maybe the most important one of all, because what we're going to do is show you how both pickups can function, and I'm going to do a trick where I'm going to use a loop and I'm going to play over top of it and play some sort of Jeff Beck lead style stuff, and we're going to get into the character of this bridge pickup in a big way with some distortion going. We're going to have a Friedman pedal going so that we get a little bit of honk and dirt on what's going on. But the guitar remains very articulate when it's doing that, and the voice of the guitar speaks even with these kind of slightly lower Filtertron-esque kind of pickups. When you go down in the first position on this, it still speaks really good. Even when I go onto the neck pickup, it's very articulate, all up and down the neck, and I'm going to try and demonstrate that for you. So just going to create a little 4-bar loop. That's it. We're done. Thanks a lot for joining us here for another MJS Pickups video in the Metalworks studio, playing on my loose end guitar. And I hope we'll keep doing these like year after year after year.
Amen.
Until I'm like 95. So, anyways, have fun, bounce around on the internet, but come back to MJS and see more videos about these things. Bye-bye.